Hey everyone, and welcome to The Explainer. So, there is a massive geopolitical shift unfolding literally right as we speak. The United States and Iran have just announced a preliminary peace agreement. It's a huge deal. But today, we're strictly looking at the facts to break down exactly what is actually in this deal and, more importantly, what it means for the rest of the world. Let's get right into it. Okay, let's dive into this. The big headline hitting the wire right now is a direct agreement aimed at ending the really intense recent flare ups between the two nations. The stated goal here is pretty significant. They want to formally halt the hostilities that have kind of kept the entire international community on edge lately. But, geopolitical deals aren't just built on a quick handshake and a smile, right? They are built on very highly specific, carefully timed parameters. 60 days. That is the magic number here. According to the reports, this deal establishes a very specific 60-day ceasefire. And it's absolutely crucial to note the time frame we're dealing with here. Actually, let's be clear. This isn't some indefinite declaration of world peace. It's a strict, finite pause. Think of those 60 days as a sort of diplomatic pressure cooker. It gives both sides a dedicated window to de-escalate militarily, sure, but it also forces the negotiators to race against the clock before tensions can flare up again. And as that 60-day clock ticks down, there's a really specific geographic focus right at the center of this whole agreement. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is that this agreement isn't just about putting down weapons. It actually hinges on unlocking the Strait of Hormuz. For those who might not know, it's this massive global choke point. Yet at its narrowest, it's literally only 21 miles wide. That is tiny. The deal includes concrete step-by-step plans to reopen this crucial passage. If you've been following global news at all, you definitely hear about this strait a lot during times of conflict. And well, there's a very good reason this specific stretch of water is explicitly written right into the peace deal. So why does this one specific waterway matter so much to the global economy? Simply put, because the Strait of Hormuz is basically the central artery for global energy. To put that into perspective, roughly a fifth of the entire world's daily oil consumption squeezes through this narrow little corridor. When there's conflict in this region, the safe passage of energy supplies is instantly threatened. So by explicitly writing the reopening of the strait into the agreement, this deal instantly unblocks a massive bottleneck in the global supply chain. And the moment this was announced, man, the world reacted. And honestly, the reaction was just textbook cause and effect. Closed shipping lanes historically breed serious market anxiety and just drive energy costs through the roof. But the exact moment this preliminary agreement was announced, the temperature just dropped. Global markets reacted positively and almost instantly, with oil prices falling right as the threat to the supply chain basically evaporated. It's wild to see. A geopolitical ceasefire leading directly to the reopening of a vital shipping route, which then instantly lowers both the tension and the prices on the global economic stage. Obviously, a deal of this magnitude sends shockwaves way beyond the Middle East. Right now, literally as we speak, at the G7 summit in France, leaders of the world's largest advanced economies are dissecting this exact agreement. They know for a fact that their domestic economies run on the oil flowing through that exact strait, making this 60-day pause a massive top priority on the global stage. The entire international community has its eyes glued to this development. But while the ceasefire is active and the markets are calming down, the hard work is honestly just getting started. So the crucial point is really this reality check. The 60-day ceasefire is just a pause button. It is definitely not a cure. Behind closed doors, the absolute heaviest lifting remains. We've got two massive hurdles that are completely unresolved here: the crippling international sanctions and the deeply, deeply complex limits on nuclear enrichment. Neither of these massive topics was instantly solved by this preliminary deal. The ceasefire merely buys diplomats a quiet room to sit down at the table and try to somehow untangle these historically stubborn issues. Which brings us to the ultimate question we're all wondering. Will this preliminary deal actually bring lasting peace to the region? Look, we have a 60-day pause, we've got open shipping lanes and stabilized markets for now. But with sanctions and nuclear negotiations still looming large over everything, the absolute hardest part is yet to come. So what do you think is going to happen when that 60-day clock runs out? Thanks so much for joining me for this explainer today. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I'll see you guys next time.